at the movies with the Tim Sika. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Kim. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Busy week. I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
try to relax a little this weekend if I can make some time to do that, but we'll see.
Just the sound of your voice is relaxing. I'm
Oh,
looking at the
geez.
picture of all the movies on the beach there, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna pick a blow up cushion and get a cozy blanket and settle
Okay.
in on the beach, and
All right.
we're gonna look at the screen. You're gonna tell me all of the good things. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay. I'll do my
Okay.
best.
And the bad things. You'll tell me the bad things too, I guess. The
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
movie you have for us today is called The Smashing Machine. And I looked at this movie poster and I think
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock looks like very different with hair
Yes.
and kind of
Yeah.
creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah, he does look different, and he is sort of unrecognizable, and I'll talk about that. But this is, yeah, the smashing machine. That it's a metaphor for him and his character, and it's, I mean, this is so unoriginal. I want to say it's a smashing movie, right? It's a smashing sports docudrama, I guess is the best way to describe it, and it's directed by Benny Safdie of the brother filmmaking team of the Safdie brothers, the elder brother being Josh. But this is Benny's solo directorial debut, sans his brother, so that's interesting. But the movie itself, the story, which takes place between 1997 and 2000, it's based on the true story of this guy. His name is Mark Kerr, who was a mixed martial arts champion fighter. That's the no holds barred fighting, where the fists are smashing faces into bloody pulps. The kind of fighting where it's all real, it's not faked. It's really violent and really nasty. Anyway, the movie stars, as you mentioned, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is Mark Kerr. Unquestionably his best screen performance, and certainly one in which any traces of his previous and popular screen persona have been totally erased. In fact, he's almost unrecognizable. I remember when the movie started and it said, starring Dwayne Johnson and stuff, and I'm waiting 10 minutes before I realize, oh my God, that's The Rock.
Wow.
You can't, and they did such a good job with makeup and transforming his very familiar visage, with the bald head and all, into one resembling the real Mark Kerr.
Yeah.
Now, I should also point out that this movie is based on another movie, a documentary with the same title called The Smashing Machine, The Life and Times of Extreme Fighter Mark Kerr, which I haven't seen. So, I'm wondering if I had seen it, if this dramatic version, or rather this dramatic retelling, I would have found necessary or maybe even significantly adding to this man's story, but be that as it may. And never having seen the doc before, I thought this was a good movie. I thought it was an interesting story about this guy, Mark Kerr, and his personal life. His wife here is played by Emily Blunt, and she's always great, and she's fantastic
That's
here.
an odd pairing, though, The Rock and Emily Blunt.
It is an odd pairing, and I wonder, how that looked on paper. But they play this couple. It's kind of a dysfunctional couple, but they have great chemistry together. They play off each other very well, and yeah, the casting is great. But anyway, I enjoyed how, it's a story about this guy who's driven to succeed at all costs in what just has got to be one of the most killing, literally, sports competitions ever devised, and one I think that's banned in a lot of countries. And there's folks trying to even get it banned in countries where it's still allowed because it's so. Oh God. The way they bash each other. I'm surprised that participants aren't killed during this because, they're punched in the face over and over, and then they punch them in the neck, and then they kick them it's off anyway. But interesting story about the psychology of this guy, how driven he is, and how, because of the extreme violence of this sport, he becomes invariably or inevitably addicted to painkillers, and how he extricated himself from that addiction and still managed to compete. It's just a very interesting, well-told tale. And a side note here, I'm a film geek, so I loved the look of the film. It's kind of like a ragtag, low-budget, fly-on-the-wall style. It's like it's a narrative film, but it's also kind of plays like a documentary kind of thing. It's got this. That's why I think that's why docudrama is the best way to describe it.
Sure.
And I understand that they actually shot it or shot large portions of it on 16 millimeter film with VHS cameras to give it that look. So yeah, absorbing sports drama that's really much more about sports and much more about the sport, against which is its backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also worth re-emphasizing here, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. He's a revelation in this movie.
Wow.
He's quite good, and depending on how they want to position this film, I could see him even being, when considering what the other competition is, I could see him being positioned for Best Actor awards this year. He's that good in this movie.
Well, that's a long way from, the Disney character we know where he's the captain of the Jungle Cruise boat with a smirk and a sarcastic laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in movies like The Tooth Fairy, where
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah,
Hey,
no,
and there's a place for all of that. Those are fun family movies, but
yeah, no, but he really takes a
yeah.
stretch in this movie and does so very successfully. And like I say,
Mhm.
you forget, well, once you remember that, hey, oh yeah, that's The Rock, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
He's so good in the role, you forget that that's The Rock, and
Wow.
you believe him as this character, Mark Kerr. Yeah, excellent
So
performance.
I looked up while you were talking the fatalities in mixed martial arts
Oh
contests,
no. Yeah, what
and
does it say?
according to Wikipedia, if it's to be believed, as of 2023, there have been 20 recorded deaths resulting from sanctioned mixed martial arts contests,
Wow, that's
9
2 years.
from unregulated bouts, but none in the largest MMA promotion, which is the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Wow. And
Yeah,
that's what, 2 years? How
yeah.
many? Oh my
Well,
gosh.
as of 2023. So
As
from
of, as of, I
2023
see.
and before, but not
Okay,
in the last
okay.
couple of years. So as of 2023, it was
That's still
20
too
deaths.
many. That's
It's
still too many. Yeah. But I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. It's like, yeah. Or the guys that survive after literally being pummeled in the face until their face is literally a bloody pulp. What that doesn't do to their brains. I
yikes.
mean,
Yeah,
let alone their
yeah.
the way their face is composed. Yeah, no, and I had to look away a couple times because I thought, oh my
Oh,
God,
kind of
this is,
bloody.
yeah,
Yeah.
really bloody. But it's a very good film, very good film.
Let us move on to Orwell.
Yes. Now, actually, I'm unsure whether the official name for this next movie is Orwell or Orwell. Wait, yeah, it's in the poster. Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. I
Okay.
think that's the full name, yeah, but that makes sense. Although it's a weird movie. I mean, you're going to ask your friend, hey, what are you going to do this weekend? Oh, I'm going to go see Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. And they're going to go, what? Anyway, but it makes sense because of what the movie is about. But in any event, this is a documentary. It's directed by Raoul Peck, and it follows the life and career of writer George Orwell and how his political observations are upsettingly relevant to present day in our current times. I mean, talk about prescient, particularly the lessons from the novel 1984 that he famously was the author of. Anyway, British actor Damian Lewis narrates the film. He does the voice of George Orwell, and it's just the words of Orwell. And what it is it's excellent, but to be perfectly honest, also perfectly depressing. This is a depressing movie. It's because
Oh.
it's an anatomy of fascism and how
Mhm.
fascism grows. That very effectively, what it does, Kim, is it juxtaposes Orwell's words, mostly the words from 1984, with current world political movements and news footage, many scenes from Irish socialist filmmaker Ken Loach's films. And when pairing Orwell's words with what's going on in the world today, with an emphasis on the US, well, I mean, it's like one nightmare scenario after another. I mean, several nightmare
Oh.
scenarios after another. So it's sobering, to say the
Mhm.
least. And what are we reminded here? Some of the things that we're reminded of here, that the very concept of objective truth is fading from our
Mhm.
world, that social media is turning our world topsy-turvy, because it spreads lies, or it seems to spread lies faster than facts, while amplifying people's fear and people's anger, fueling hatred by design for profit. Uh,
Mhm.
how newspeak, which is newspeak being defined as language used to alter reality and manipulate, how it's just being used now in media, and that the media is just picking up on the administration. Just for an example, this current administration, presidential administrations, um, they're reporting it, so it's like it's becoming common and accepted. Like when they say vocational training center, what they are really saying is concentration camp. Or when they say legal use of force, that's
Right.
code for police brutality, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a depressing film. But it's a must-see film. It's a bit long,
Mhm.
at a minute under 2 hours, but I think it's a must-see film for everybody, especially given our current criminally corrupt presidential administration. I
So
mean, yeah,
you say that it is excellent, but also depressing. And I really don't like a depressing movie. I kind of find reality depressing enough, and I want to be carried away. But I would say a movie
right.
like this, especially for people who
Yeah,
somehow just don't get it, may
yeah,
be exactly what the doctor ordered to sober us
exactly.
all up and really shine a light for people that are not paying attention.
Yeah, I would suspect, like, you watching it. I mean, none of it would be unfamiliar to
Right.
you because of
Yeah.
all the political
I'm
things that you
already on board.
traffic in. You're already
Yeah.
on board,
Yeah.
and you would go, yeah, yeah, and it's but
They
but
don't
but
need to
but
tell
really,
me. Right.
no, no. But at 2 hours, it's like, geez. I mean, it's powerful, but it
Mhm.
it it ain't it ain't a fun night at the movies.
Mm.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's hope someone that needs to see this gets put in front of it.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. I agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
let us move on away from the, politicos to
Polit-
this
oh,
movie,
yeah.
Anemone.
Anemone. Okay,
Anemone.
I'm anemone.
Anemone.
Yeah, anemone, which is anemone is like, it's, what is it? It's okay. Yeah, it's this genius of flowering plants or something. But okay, now, okay, I'm going to try and be objective here, but that's probably I
Okay.
won't be. Anyway, this is a movie
Uh,
I should have loved. It had all the earmarks of where my taste in film is, but
Mhm.
I found this movie to be I'm just going to say it. I found it to be a colossal bore. Um, it's a story about reconnection and healing. Daniel Day-Lewis stars. It's his first film in like 7 or 8 years. He's one of our great, great actors. It's
Mhm.
directed by his son, Ronan Day-Lewis, who's making his movie debut.
Mhm.
And the premise is that one brother, played by Sean Bean, visits his estranged brother, uh, played by Daniel Day-Lewis, and who
Mhm.
lives virtually like a hermit in the woods, to convince him to come home and rejoin the family. That's basically the premise. But when watching this movie, I couldn't help but be reminded of what actor Gary Oldman once said about the Golden Globe Awards. He called them a 2-hour wank.
Oh.
Well, delete 2 hour and replace that with 2 hour and 6 minute, and you have, I know
Mm,
this is such a cheap shot, but you have a good description of this movie. It's
yeah.
remarkably dull. It's tedious. It's very self-conscious. It's dramatically inert, and it's just an unmitigated bore. I barely got through it. It was 2 hours and 6 minutes long, for one. And I will say its heart is in the right place. I mean, it's really about the emotional complexities between fathers and sons and brothers. And I like that about it, but it suffers from first time director things that they fall into. I mean, meaning
Oh,
that there's an aura of self-importance about it that just gets in the way of it being just remotely entertaining. I mean, it wants to impress you with its camera angles and its close-up shots of like things like flowers and buttercups and beef stew, and I mean instead of trying to involve you, and as a result it kept me constantly at arm's length, despite the brilliance of its lead actor, Daniel Day-Lewis. This is the worst movie
Oh.
featuring a great performance I think I have ever seen. And I don't want to go on kicking a dead horse, so I'm just going to say outright that if any of what I've said sounds potentially interesting to anybody watching or listening, go see this movie. But if you're asking me, I say avoid it at all
Don't
costs. You know,
recommend it.
the other thing
Mhm.
too, when I was watching this movie, the great filmmaker, indie filmmaker Paul Schrader once was asked, like, well, what in an interview, I think he was asked, like, what does he do if he has trouble falling asleep at night? And he responded by saying something to the effect that he just puts on a boring movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, if Paul Schrader, if you're listening, Paul, put this one at the top of your
This
list. The
is
next
a
time you have
boring movie
trouble
list.
falling asleep, I guarantee it'll work its magic no more than 5 or 10 minutes into it. I swear. I know
Oh,
I'm being
no.
so cavalierly dismissive about this movie,
Oh,
but no, really, I should have loved this movie, but it was like, I wanted to scream. Yeah, it just, yeah. I said it all. I said I didn't want to go on kicking a dead horse, so I shall
yeah.
stop. Yeah, I
And
shall
let
stop.
us move on over to this one. It's called Plainclothes, kind of a poster that's very dark and hard to see what's going on.
Yeah, well, this is an indie drama. It's an acclaimed Sundance Film Festival psychological drama. It's set in 1990s New York. It's about again, yeah, I'm using that word interesting a lot, but this is an interesting movie. It's about a working class undercover officer played by Tom Bly. I don't know which one he is in the picture because I can't tell, but he's tasked. Part of his job is entrapping and apprehending gay men cruising for sex in public restrooms,
Oh.
only to find himself attracted to one of his targets, played by Russell Tovey. So he's closeted.
Mhm.
He's gay himself. So, and next to The Smashing Machine and Orwell, I think this may be the,
Does he only
yeah,
figure
really,
this
yeah,
out when he's in the
yeah.
bathroom checking things out? Is that like, is it a revelation?
Yeah, well, it's I think in some ways this may be the best film of the week because it's a feature film directorial debut for this guy named Carmen Emmy. And how to sum it up without going into the weeds here, it's an intriguing thriller for one. In addition to being a fascinating psychological study, it's quietly intense, it's deeply atmospheric, and it explores the gray zones of, I don't know, authority and identity, and mostly the cost of living a secret life, really. And in a time when questions, particularly about policing, staying true to yourself and personal accountability are more urgent, in my opinion, than ever before, this
Mhm.
movie offers a kind of a gripping, intimate look at one man's grappling with secrecy, with silence, and his own moral conflict. So, very interesting movie and a story that stays with you, not just for its storytelling expertise, but for the nuanced questions that it leaves when the end credits roll. It gives
Mhm.
you a lot to think about. So it's a very good film, Plainclothes, and it
See?
opens in theaters today in the Bay
Okay.
Area. Yeah.
Tim Sika's classic movie recommendation of the week is called
The
Heiress.
Heiress.
The Heiress. Yeah.
The Heiress. William Wyler's The Heiress. This is an absolutely magnificent motion picture drama.
They tell
In
you
my,
right on the poster, it's a
yeah,
truly great motion picture.
they do. Oh, really? It says that? Oh my God. Yeah.
Look at the
See,
top. A
I should,
truly great motion picture. If,
That's so
if you were
funny.
wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's where I got it subconsciously or something. But anyway, it's based on Henry James's 1881 novel, which was called Washington Square, which then became a very successful Broadway play. And it's a template. Oh wow, yeah, it's a template example of great classic movie storytelling, great classic movie direction, and great classic movie acting. The picture there that we see is it's Montgomery Clift with Olivia de Havilland, who is so great in this movie. Anyway, the story takes place circa 1850, and it stars Olivia de Havilland in arguably her greatest role, and one for which she earned her second Best Actress Academy Award. She won 3 years earlier for a picture called To Each His Own, but in The Heiress, she plays a plain looking daughter of a wealthy widowed doctor who's played by Sir Ralph Richardson, who, for the most part, treats his daughter with derision and contempt and cruelty under the guise that he's protecting her from the evils of the world because she's so plain and so naive and so socially awkward. but anyway, one day she receives some unexpected attention from a very handsome and charming suitor at this ball, played by Montgomery Clift, who's on the right there. But when her father gets wind of this news, he treats it with disdain because he claims that this guy is just after her for her money because, well, nobody, well, no man certainly could ever really be interested in a woman that looks and acts like his daughter. So that's when the plot really thickens and kicks in what is, in my opinion, one of the all-time great movie dramas, and a film that I think, I don't know if anybody talks about this film in film schools or anything, but I think it should be watched and studied in film schools because it's a film the likes of which if anybody out there who is a young encouraging filmmaker, I encourage you to study this work because let's just say that there's so many lessons to be learned by any movie directed by the great William Wyler, who directed this one, who helmed this project, with his usual filmmaking aplomb and skill and effective ways to tell movie stories, of which I think most young filmmakers today, I don't know. They appear to me clueless. I wonder how many of them have really studied the classics, but that's a whole nother conversation. But this is a movie that's about revenge. It's about taking control when being oppressed. And there's this theme of deep hatred running through the narrative and the ramifications of those emotions and actions that are driven by those emotions and those behaviors and those states of mind. So it's a great, great movie. There's not a wrong note in it. It's great story, great screenplay, great direction, great acting, and the production and costume design also won Oscars. And in addition, for music fans out there, there's a fabulous score by the great and influential classical composer Aaron Copland that really, gives this movie juice. And he also won an Academy Award for that music that year, 1949. So anyway, it's one of the all-time superlative Hollywood dramas, and it's streaming for a nominal rental fee on Amazon Prime. I encourage everybody to check this one out. It's fantastic.
You have my interest piqued with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I would say, if I had to guess, I'd say you'll really dig it. I mean, you'll really, really like it. Yeah.
This scene with the globe light and her going up the stairs, like, it almost looks like a
horror movie.
Yeah,
or a mystery, almost like a horror movie. I mean, de Havilland is so brilliant in this part because she goes from this like docile, totally closed off, like even in her body language, she's just so like she's afraid to even like lift her head up, to this, oh man, I mean, does she ever get revenge on what has been done to her all her life? And it's almost, in a way, I mean, it's not like a Hallmark card for revenge, but it explains like why somebody would seek that kind of revenge, given her upbringing and what she was subjected to all her life. And de Havilland is so magnificent. I can watch this movie over and over again, and I have. And every time I watch her performance, I see a new subtle nuance that I never saw before. It's amazing, and she's brilliant in the role.
Sometimes people like me that might not take revenge in real life find the revenge in the movies deliciously satisfying.
Yes. I agree. Yeah, it's almost like, oh man, this feels so good. I know I shouldn't think that it's a good thing, but oh good, I'm glad they're doing it on screen and I don't have to do it, because I might do it, if given the chance.
I like to think about doing it, but I never really would do it. Let's do the recap, my friend. The Smashing Machine with The Rock. You said this one's based on a true story, and it is, you say, The Rock's best screen performance to date. He looks very different. It is an interesting story, great casting, good movie. The Rock you called a revelation in this movie. Maybe you said award-worthy performance on this one? Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. You said it's excellent and depressing, but it's an anatomy of fascism. I love how you put that. You said it takes Orwell's words, compares the words to current events and news footage. You call this movie sobering.
Yeah.
Anemone. You
Anemone. Okay,
Anemone.
now I gotta hear you say my words back to me. Oh yeah, yeah,
Anemone.
yeah.
Tim should have liked this movie, but Tim found it to be a colossal bore. You said it was tedious and self-conscious, and you barely got through it. You
Yeah,
said its heart's in the right place, but it has an air of self-importance and all the first-time director silliness that really just kept you away from connecting with this movie. You
yeah,
do not recommend
yeah.
Anemone.
Yeah. Say
No.
that 10 times fast.
Anemone.
I do not recommend an anemone. Yeah.
Plainclothes. This is a drama about a closeted undercover officer that has to go and trap men in bathrooms that are looking for same-sex loving. You called it the best movie of the week. You
Yeah,
said it's an
yeah.
intriguing thriller, intense, looks at the cost of living a secret life, and the story, you said it stays with you. And there's a lot to think about this with this movie. You recommend Plainclothes. And Tim's classic movie recommendation of the week is The Heiress from 1949. Yeah.
How many
You
years
said
is that?
that's a long ass time.
Long, long ass time.
Yeah. And I always love to think about what was going on in 1949. We had just come out of the war,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Just a few years before. Yeah, a few years
Yeah.
later.
So that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
kind of like where people were reeling probably still from all that.
Could be.
Um
Yeah.
I don't know. You said this is a great classic movie, storytelling, acting, production, costume design, the score, all of it awesome. That it may be Olivia de Havilland's best role, one of the all-time great movie dramas. People should be studying this one in film school. You said it's streaming on Amazon Prime for a fee. It is The Heiress from 1949, our classic movie recommendation of the week. Look at that.
Excellent,
Debbie Timbo.
excellent, Kim.
Yay!
Yeah, yeah. We did it again. Another week has gone by, and we did it again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Tim Sika, for coming through with the goods. I appreciate you.